guys, it's me, Chelsea. I'm in the 2020 PC, and for today's Sisterhood video, I thought I would teach you guys how to make chicken parm. It's a big staple in my house because I'm half Italian, and I used to eat this all the time growing up. So first you're gonna start with some chicken thighs, and you're just gonna take them out of the package. And then once you're done doing that, throw it out because you don't want raw chicken anywhere. And then make sure to wash your hands. And as you're at the sink, you're gonna fill up a bowl of, or not a bowl, I guess a pot of water. And you're gonna put it over the stove so that it can boil, because I'm also gonna be making it with a side of couscous. So yeah, you're just gonna wait for that to boil and make sure that you add salt in it. Once you're done with that, you're going to get back to your chicken, and these weren't flat pieces, so I decided to flatten them a little bit with this mallet. But yeah, it made a really, really loud noise. So luckily my roommate wasn't sleeping, but yeah, this is how loud the noise was. She honestly probably thought somebody might have been at the door, on who can really say. But yeah, so you're just gonna flatten those pieces so that they can cook more thoroughly, because some parts of the piece are thicker than the others, so you just want to even them all out. And once you're done with that, oh wow, what a great transition. Once you're done with that, you're gonna crack an egg into a bowl, and then you're gonna mix it up. Don't worry, I didn't actually use my hands, I used a fork. But yeah, so once you're done with that, you're going to put some Italian seasoned breadcrumbs, or whatever breadcrumbs you have, you can season it however you want, onto a plate. And oh wow, another great transition. As you can tell, I'm not a Dodge girly, but anyway, you're going to take the chicken that you had malleted or hammered or whatever, and you're just gonna kind of coat it in the egg so that it can attach like the breadcrumbs to itself, if that makes sense. And then you're just gonna put the chicken in the breadcrumbs and coat it evenly. As you can see, I'm getting all sides of the chicken. And you're just gonna do this with every piece that you have. Again, like you can make as little or as many pieces as you want, but yeah, so that's kind of how it's gonna look. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna sear the chicken just so it gets like crispy. And so how I did this, I just put some olive oil in a pan and just waited for it to get hot. And then I seared all the pieces of chicken in there. All of them didn't fit, so I waited till those were done and then finished that last piece that was straggling over there. But yeah, so once you're done with that, or at least while you're waiting for that to finish searing, you're going to get kind of like a pan sort of like metal thing to put your chicken in. I don't know what that's called, but yeah, so I cover mine in aluminum foil so I don't have to go back and clean it later because I'm lazy. Work smarter, not harder. Anyway, but yeah, so you're just gonna coat the bottom in marinara sauce, and kind of what I'm doing now is just kind of evening it out. And then now your chicken should be done, and you're not gonna want it to cook all the way through. You just want that crispiness to get, like, it's almost like toasting the breadcrumbs, so don't worry about if it's not cooked all the way, because it's gonna cook in the oven. And now before you put it into the oven, which is going to be preheated up to 400 degrees, you're going to get some mozzarella. I just have like this big ball of mozzarella, but you can get whatever cheese you want, honestly, or if you don't want cheese at all, that works too. I honestly don't even know why it's called chicken parm if I don't even put parm on it, but anyway. Oh, that little piece was very delicious. I love Parmesan. I'm lactose intolerant, but I literally eat so much cheese, it's unreal. But you're just gonna cut your mozzarella into like these thick slices, and as you can see here, I started counting them because I forgot how many pieces of chicken I had. But yeah, so you're just gonna cut into those thick pieces, and then nice and then you're going to put those pieces on top of the chicken that you have in your pan thing. I still don't know what it's called. But yeah, so you're just gonna put the pieces on top of the chicken, and you just want to make sure that all, like, the chicken is like pretty coated in the cheese. And it doesn't matter if it's covering it completely because it's gonna melt. But yeah, just like enough so that when it melts, it kind of covers the whole piece. And then you're gonna put the rest of the marinara sauce that you have over the chicken and the cheese. And then from there, you're going to put that into the oven, and your oven should be preheated at 400 degrees. So you're just gonna stick it in there, and you don't have to cover it or anything, just leave it uncovered. And then at this point, your water should be boiled, especially if you put salt. The salt will help it boil faster. And then I just put a cup of this, wow, great transition. But I just put a cup of couscous into mine and added a little bit more salt, because you want to make sure that it's seasoned so it doesn't taste bland. And then now I'm gonna start getting my veggie side ready. So I chose to do some onions and peppers as my little veggie side. So I just cut these onions into these kind of thick sort of pieces, and then I julienned my red peppers. But you can honestly use whatever veggies you want. But yeah, so once I was done with that, I brought it over to oh, dropped the camera. I brought it over to the pan, and I just used the same pan that I cooked the chicken in, because it'll still have those really great flavors from the chicken and the Italian breadcrumbs. So I just put some olive oil and then put all the veggies in there. And then you want to, again, make sure that you season everything. So I use some salt, and oh, we're going in fast motion. I use some black pepper, and I use garlic powder, and my favorite seasoning of all time, yum, is Everything But the Bagel seasoning. If you don't have it, I 10 out of 10 recommend you get it. It's literally the most yummy thing to ever exist, after pasta, of course. But yeah, so I just kind of mixed all that so that all the seasoning kind of coated everything evenly, and then while I was waiting, I worked on spoils. You can't see it. But yeah, so back into the kitchen. So now at this point, your couscous should really only take 10 minutes, and if you do the water properly, you won't have to drain it, but I did not. So yeah, I just drained it, and then after that, I added some parsley just to give it a little bit more flavor and a little bit more salt, because I tasted it and needed a little bit more salt. But yeah, whenever you're cooking, just make sure you're like tasting your stuff, so that you know if you need to add anything or take anything out. Or I guess you can't really take it out, just if you need to add anything or compensate for other spices that you might have put too much of. But yeah, so now all of your stuff is cooking, and while you're waiting for that to cook, do more spoils. But yeah, so your chicken will take about, I would say, like 20 minutes in the oven, especially because they're chicken thighs. Like, it's kind of hard to overcook them because they're so moist. If you're using chicken breast, you won't need as long. But now you can go on to plating. So I just put the couscous on the plate and then put the chicken right on top so that all that marinara sauce could kind of seep into the couscous. And then I just put my veggies on the side. And there you have it, some chicken parm and couscous and veggies. And then I also put some in that container and brought it to Jillian's house. I literally love her. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I love you all so much, and have a fun spoils next week.